I'm guessing that many of you would still remember Father's Day evening of 2005. We had gathered in the gym for a special service, round tables, and I really don't even remember what was going to be taking place, but I remember what did happen. For just as we were getting ready to start, we got word that our junior high teens who were arriving in Indianapolis to be a part of the One Heart Many Hands project before General Assembly had been involved in a very bad accident.
Well, there were 12 of us who were actually on our way to Indianapolis to be a part of One Heart Many Hands, and that 12 included 8 students and 4 adults.
We were just outside of the city of Indianapolis, and we were in at the time we had one of those big 15-passenger vans. We were in the far left lane of traffic, and we got hit from our right side, and we fishtailed across all 3 lanes. We're now facing oncoming traffic, and kept skidding, hit a barrier, flipped up into the air, landed on our top.
A Kansas City church group crashes into a drainage ditch outside Indianapolis. On a mission to help people in need, they found themselves in need of prayer.
In that moment of not even knowing what the circumstances were on the other end, we went to prayer. And I remember coming before the crowd saying, I need to go make some phone calls, and I need to communicate with some parents, but I need you all to pray. And around the tables, people began to call out to the Lord. I don't know that others ever even heard that when Dwayne Adams talked to me initially, he said, Pastor, some of these kids may not make it.
My plane had just landed in Indianapolis. I leaned over, got my phone out of my bag, turned it on, and it rang while it was still in my hand. And I answered it, and it was my husband. And the minute that I heard his voice, I knew something was wrong with one of my boys.
I knew it was bad in my mind when Vincent James said, I think Peggy's dead. I mean, I remember that being the very first thing that I heard. And I remember in that moment just telling everybody to get out as quick as they could.
And so I just kind of fell out through the window and landed into a puddle of mud. And Dwayne Adams, the youth pastor at the time, slid out the window in front of me. And then a friend of mine, Joel Sinley, slid out the window out behind him. And I grabbed him on his way out. And I said, hey, I'm having a hard time moving. I need some help. And so he grabbed my leg and started to pull. And I blacked out.
A coworker drove me from the airport to the hotel, right past the scene of the accident. I will never forget looking ahead in the highway and seeing all those flashing lights, police cars, fire trucks, and driving past and seeing that blue van mangled on its top down there in that ditch.
I want to say it was about 4 or 5 till 6 on a Sunday, and I knew folks were going into church, so we were trying to call numbers, and there weren't many people answering. But knew we needed to get the word out for people to start praying and for our community to start lifting us up.
I learned that Ben had the 2nd and 3rd degree burns over 18% of his body, pelvic bone broken in 3 places, internal bleeding, and what else I didn't know yet. Got to the hospital, found out, finally got to see him. He was wrapped in something black from his chin to his toes. I couldn't even hug him. I couldn't even, the only thing I could do was touch the top of his head, which was covered with mud and reeking of gasoline. And his first words to me were, well, Mom, this is what you get for sending me off on a mission trip. Something like that. But I remember that evening, they said we're going to have to do this surgery tonight, in the night, because of the internal bleeding. Mark Parker, Shirley Marvin, and Cindy Pusey stayed with me until 2 o'clock in the morning, till he was through with that surgery, and we knew he was going to be okay.
God's church was just being his church that evening. And God took care of those kids and those adults as the days unfolded, and we're grateful for his love and care for each of them.
Even if there were not a life after this one, to be associated and part of a church body is still a priceless, priceless gift if our world ended when we die. And I will never forget the way my brothers and sisters picked me up and carried me during those days.